All right, AFC side of the ball. Let's start with the East. This one, to me, the no-brainer, it's the Buffalo Bills. There's no glaring weaknesses on this team. On paper, they could be even better than last year's team when you add Von Miller, who's not the Von Miller that everyone makes him out to be, but he still garners attention, still helps the D-line get the job done. They added O.J. Howard at tight end. They added cornerback Khair Alam. They have everything you need. Running game situation needs a little bit of work. It just hasn't been great. Singletary hasn't been great. I think James Cook, the rookie that they got in the draft out of Georgia, who's a little bit more pass heavy than he is run heavy. But when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, I think that's going to play into their strengths even more to help the running game. I think he'll end up being, one of the main focal points by the halfway point of the season and be a big reason that they're involved as late as they are in the postseason. Yes, the Dolphins have made some improvements. I need to see them on the field before I give them any kind of hype. The Jets, some improvements as well. Still the Jets, not going to believe in them. And the Patriots, they're in their version of a rebuild under Belichick, where they're towing the line of a playoff contending team, but they're not good yet. They're not great yet. They still need some work. Mac Jones still needs work. The weapons still need work. So I think it's the Bills, and I think it's a runaway with the Bills.
I think it's a runaway too. And I like the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins will make the playoffs as a wild card team, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills were the overall number one seed in the AFC, because they have the team certainly to do it. Their schedule is a lot harder than it was last year. Their schedule last year, I think it was like the easiest schedule maybe in the NFL. And this year it's going to be significantly harder, but you still have a quarterback who's probably the favorite to win the MVP. I think the Bills are even the favorite to win the Super Bowl, and they are a large favorite to win this division. And I think there's just a reason for that. I believe in the defense. The running game, like you mentioned, is a concern, but they do have weapons. They have Gabriel Davis, they have Stephon Diggs, and Josh Allen can be part of the running game as well. So, you don't necessarily need maybe a pair of great running backs when your quarterback can do what Josh Allen can, especially in the red zone. And then, I just think it's a really well put together team overall, and I would pick the Bills to win this division, every day of the week.
All right, who you got in the AFC North? Let's go to a division where there's actually a challenge.
So the AFC North, I think will be really good as well. Obviously you have the Ravens, the Bengals, the Steelers, not so much anymore. And then the Browns, probably not so much, now that Deshaun Watson's going to be suspended for all of those games. But I think that Ravens are going to win this division. They were in the driver's seat to win it last year. Lamar Jackson got hurt, and then they didn't win any of the games that Lamar didn't play. So, and it's a team that honestly, they just dominate the regular season. And I think they will again. Of course, the Bengals, the reigning AFC champions, are going to have something to say about it, because I think they'll be really good this year. But I do like the Ravens. They can't have as bad injury luck as they had last year. Not just Lamar Jackson, but last year, all of the running backs died. All of their wide receivers, weren't healthy either. And then they had some injuries on defense. And the Baltimore defense, if healthy, it should be really good. Now, of course, you have J.K. Dobbins coming back for the running game, Rashad Bateman, and Mark Andrews in the passing game. So while it's not world-beating offensive weapons, for the style of offense that they run, they should be really good. And then even Lamar this year, I know he's put on some weight and added some strength, so maybe it'll help him take some of those hits and not get hurt. So I would pick the Ravens to win this division, and I think it's going to be really close with them and the Bengals.
I think it's going to be close as well, but I'm leaning the other way, and I got the Bengals. Burrow and Chase are just ridiculous. You add Higgins and Boyd to the mix, and you have arguably the best trio of receivers in the NFL. Joe Mixon has an offense that he can shine in. And then the big glaring weakness on their offense was that offensive line. Well, they went and added Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, and Lael Collins.
Yeah.
So they solidified an entire side of their line that was bad before. And their defense was already good. And then you add Daxton Hill, you add Cam Taylor-Britt, you add Zachary Carter in this draft. So they addressed the defensive side of the ball. To me, what separates them from the Ravens, quarterback play, they're completely different, obviously. Burrow is mash the ball down the field, and Lamar is use my athleticism any way possible, whether that's escaping and throwing, escaping and running, whatever they need me to do. But now we've got the contract issue with Lamar Jackson. And you're hearing the wide receivers, or people talk about the wide receivers don't want to play with Lamar Jackson in that offense. So there's this stuff going on around, and the Bengals don't have that stuff. And so I'm wondering if that stuff's going to play a factor into how the team performs this year for Baltimore, how Lamar performs this year, and what the Ravens front office is going to do about it. There's just questions there that I don't think Cincinnati has to deal with. And I think they're very closely matched teams as far as who's better, who's best. I agree with you that the Steelers and the Browns are not there. The Steelers could surprise a lot of people. They're still the Steelers. They have a defense. And if, Trubisky balls out, then, the Steelers could very much be in the mix. They have the weapons needed. Najee Harris is one of the best young running backs in football. And they got some good wide receiver play as well. They could very much be in the mix. The Browns, I'm sorry, I just don't believe Jacoby Brissett is going to lead the Browns to a playoff winning record. So until they get their quarterback play under control, they're out of the mix for me. So, but I think it's going to be a close battle as well, just like you do. I'm going the other side, though. I got the Bengals winning the AFC North. AFC South. To me, this is the same battle, different year, Ryan. It's been the same thing last year, was the year before that. It's the Colts or the Titans. Take your pick. Which one, who you think, flip a coin if you need to. Indy added Matty Ice to a team with a strong offensive line. Jonathan Taylor, arguably the best back in all of football. An improved defense that added all-pro cornerback Stephon Gilmore. The Tennessee Titans, they lost A.J. Brown, but they added Robert Woods. Tannehill was a little shaky at the end of the year last year. Derrick Henry obviously missing all those games. Did not help matters. He's healthy this year and will hopefully get back to his Derrick Henry ways. That's why I say arguably, because the other arguable best back in football is in the same damn division as Jonathan Taylor, and it's Derrick Henry. So it really is flip a coin in this one. I've leaned towards Tennessee the last few years we've done this, Ryan. And I want to lean towards them again. The problem with the Colts, I don't believe in any of their wide receivers, really. Like I don't see any that just, I don't believe in it that they have a great wide receiver group. Jonathan Taylor is great. And having Matt Ryan is going to open up things for Taylor that Carson Wentz failed to do last year in the passing game. I think Matt Ryan still has enough left in the tank. It's really a toss up to me between the Titans and the Colts. I'm really not 100% sure either way. I know it's going to be one of those two teams. Houston is going to improve, but they're too far behind. In Jacksonville, they're at the bottom of the cellar. They're going to improve a little bit. Not having to deal with Urban Meyer as their head coach. But I really think it's the Colts or the Titans. And I guess I'll stick with what's worked and say it's the Titans.
I mean, if you don't believe in the Colts wide receivers room, though, what'd you say about the Titans? They lost A.J. Brown and Julio Jones.
They got Robert Woods.
Oh, okay.
That's enough.
So the Colts have Michael Pittman, who's much better than Robert Woods is, and I'll pick the Colts, man. I think Matt Ryan is a huge improvement from Carson Wentz, and I think he could have not quite the year that Stafford had last year, but I think Matt Ryan can still put up some really good numbers and thrive in an offense that is going to be balanced with the running game, and that he'll have the ability to throw the ball a little bit and get some guys open. So I am big on the Colts this year. I think they'll win this division. Now, the Titans are always there. They're well coached. Obviously, they have Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill is a good quarterback. And if he gets injured, you have Malik Willis, who kind of brings you a different aspect of quarterbacking. But I think the Titans will be good. I think last year's number one overall seed that they had was kind of a fluke, but hey, they still had it. You can't take it away from them. They were, of course, able to win some games, but I think the Colts are just a little bit better. I think the improvement at quarterback is huge for them, and I think last year defenses were focusing on Jonathan Taylor, certainly towards the end of the year as he was, leading the league in rushing. But I think even this year it's going to be a bigger focus for defense, and it will allow Matt Ryan to just perform better than last year in Atlanta and give the Colts really their best quarterback play that they've seen since Andrew Luck, which I guess wasn't so long ago, but it is what it is.
Man, you're just going to disrespect Phillip Rivers like that, huh?
Yeah. It's garbage.
All right. And then the AFC West. Ryan, hit him.
So the AFC West, the best division in the NFL, and it's not particularly close. All four of these teams, honestly, God, you can make a case that they're going to make the playoffs. I'm gonna stick with the tried and true method though, man. I'm still gonna go with the Chiefs. I think, of course, they have Patrick Mahomes. I think the defense is pretty good. I think they have the best offensive line in this division, and their running game. You want to see more, right? Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been a disappointment. They brought in Isaac Pacheco. They have J.D. McKissick or Jerick McKinnon. I'm sorry, for the third down work.
I do that.
Of course, they lost Tyreek Hill, but they still have Travis Kelce. Brought in Marquez Valdez-Scantling, brought in Juju Smith-Schuster, and I think it can actually be a almost a benefit. So, like when Stafford lost Calvin and they were on the Lions, people thought Stafford would kind of fall off a cliff. But that's not what happened, right? The offense actually got better because they were able to kind of spread the ball around more. And I think that a similar situation can happen in Kansas City, not just because the weapons are different and it's not, oh, you lose Tyreek Hill, you become better. Like, that's nonsense. But I do think the offensive line is so much better that you're just going to give Pat Mahomes, who I still think like might just be the best quarterback ever, like time to do the things that he does. And maybe because we've seen Mahomes not win the Super Bowl for 2 years in a row, people are starting to jump on like he's an overrated train. I'm not on that at all. I still think Mahomes is great. I still think he's the best quarterback in the NFL, and I think this year he will prove that. And I think the Chiefs are going to win the division.
I was leaning that way as well. Damn toughest division probably in all of football, definitely in the West, between Mahomes, Wilson, Herbert, and Carr. By far the best quarterback group for a division. But the Chiefs, I don't know. I don't know if they're able to do what. This is going to sound ridiculously stupid. I don't know if Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to be able to do what Stafford and the Lions did. But
yeah, you're right. It is not stupid.
That's stupid. Tyreek Hill brings a different element to the game, obviously, just unbelievable to take top off of defenses the way that he can with the speed that he has. But it's not the offense that I'm so much worried about. I am worried about the running game because they really haven't solidified that. Edwards-Helaire has not stepped in and become what they thought he would become coming out of LSU with how explosive he was in college. It just hasn't transitioned to the NFL that easily for him. So the running game there is questionable. Defensively is where I have the real questions for the Chiefs. I just think that they haven't made the adjustments needed to help the offense win games when the offense is going to be able to put up 40 points a game, no problem. But they have a defense that is going to leak like a sieve as well that I've seen. And so that's the issues that I have. Meanwhile, the Chargers went in this offseason where they had a top 5 scoring offense, but they had a defense that allowed the 4th most points in all of football. And they went and got Khalil Mack. They went and got J.C. Jackson. They went and got these guys to help shore up a defense, to help an offense that has already proven it. Last year, they went 9-8. They are going to be much better this year. Herbert is going to be much better. The offense is going to be more in sync. And I think the defense is going to be the biggest difference, which is why I'm even shocked to say it. I have the Los Angeles Chargers winning the AFC West. It's going to be a hell of a battle between them and the Chiefs. Denver and Las Vegas are going to be right there. Denver, there's too many questions. You lost your head coach, your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, your quarterback. The quarterback's an upgrade, no question. There's no question Russell Wilson coming in is an upgrade from quarterback that they've had for the last decade. It's everything else around him that I have questions about and I need to see. And the Raiders, Devontae Adams is great. It's a great piece to add to an offense that already had some good offensive weapons. I need to see it. I need to see it from Carr when it counts. I need to see it from Carr when it matters. And I just haven't seen it yet. And so there's no reason that you can make an argument for all 4 of these teams to be in the mix. I think the 2 ahead above are the 2 that we're talking about. I think the Chargers made the offseason moves needed to really be in the mix. They saw the glimpses last year of what they could become, and they wouldn't help the team become what they can become. And the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They've been doing this. We know what they bring to the table. So there's no reason to think they can't do it again. I'm just going to go outside the box here and cause an argument and say that it's going to be the Chargers instead of the Chiefs. But I agree. I think 3 teams from this division are going to be in the postseason when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the biggest knock, I guess, against the Broncos would be I don't trust in their offensive line. And Russ doesn't have the mobility that he did when he was winning the Super Bowl with Seattle. And he's not a statue back there, and definitely better than the quarterbacks that they've had in the past, like you mentioned. But think the offensive line can still be a big issue for Denver, especially with some of the, fronts that they're going to face in the AFC West and then just in the AFC in general.
Hey, Ryan Griffin here. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Griffin and Bass. Be sure to give us your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to click the bell to receive the latest notifications from DSN and subscribe for breaking news, community blogs, polls, contests, and other content.